It is Bacon Butty. This is one of our subscriber shows that you're getting for free this week. It is the Anfield Wrap free week. So we are showcasing all of our free content across the week. So you're getting this. This is a show that we used to do on a Monday, and now we do it on a Champions League day. And joined me quite a few times this season so far. It's been Gregg.
2 out of 2 so far. So I said that to Neil after the Madrid game. I said, hey, listen, 2 out of 2. So it keeps on going.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's another win tonight, because, I mean, my God, they need it, Gregg.
As you said before, like the Forest game, it wasn't even a bad performance, it was just sad. Like, it was just embarrassingly sad. And I just hope the players kind of, from that, they get the kick up the arse that they need, that they have to finally start, like, getting some sort of progression going. I think we've been better in Europe this season anyway. We've seen, like, I don't think we've actually had like a poor performance in Europe. I think all of our performances in Europe this season have been very good. Obviously, granted, Galatasaray was a loss, but to get hard done by like a soft pen and then not get given one yourself, it happens. Stuff like that happens in football, but I don't think that in the Champions League this season we've actually been crap. I think we've played some of our best football in the Champions League.
Played some decent teams as well.
And we played some very good teams. And we played obviously an Atletico team which plays a quite similar style to a lot of Premier League clubs as well. It's one of them. Obviously, right now, we're focusing on the Champions League, especially for today. Obviously, today's game is Champions League. However, you don't really get consistency from the Champions League, but it is a start. Today's the day where we can finally get a win. We can finally get closer to guaranteed qualification. You hope. I mean, it doesn't really mean much because you bank on Liverpool to go through to the next round anyway. But as I said, like, you just hope that today we finally find something to finally get back onto winning ways. Yeah,
that's it. I think I'm hoping that the weekend was sort of rock bottom, and listen, you never know, because it could get worse. But I think just the way it happened, the manner of the defeat, the fact that it went to 3-0, not just sort of 2, 3-0 at home. I can't remember Liverpool many times, even in my life, and I'm much older than you, getting beat 3-0 home in the league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it can happen away from home, it can happen at City. You go to City, get beat 3-0, that can happen. And I think a lot of the defeats that have happened this season, even there's been quite a few of them, there's a little get out if you wanted to. Oh, it's Man City, they're a good team. Like you say, Galatasaray before, it's away from home, tough place to go. They get a pen, we don't. All those sorts of little things. Getting beat last minute at Palace. I think there's been ways where the manager or the players, if they wanted to, could go like, a little bit of luck, that could have been different, fine margins. There's no fine margins if you get beat 3-0. And also, it's Forest at home. You shouldn't even be bringing fine margins into it. So I think, I'm hoping for a reaction tonight. I'm actually expecting a reaction tonight, because I think that's got to be like a cold shower for all of them to go like, no, we're in serious trouble here, and unless you work hard, unless you fight more, unless you're prepared to win your battles, this is just going to keep happening.
The good thing for us is that you don't need to be in good form to win Champions League games. We've seen that last season. Like, we were in great form before playing against PSG, and we've ended up getting knocked out by them. You don't need great form to progress in the Champions League, and you can't rely on that kind of copium really to get you through it. But as I said, we've seen last season the Champions League is a very on-the-day based competition. So you just hope that the players can give you something just on the day, and you do hope in turn on the day becomes something more long term. Going into this game, I don't really know what to expect from like the actual starting 11, or to see what kind of team Slot goes for. But one thing I know for a fact is that we can't really downplay this game at all. We can't be like, but we played PSV last season, and we played a weakened squad and we only lost 3-2, and it was one of them. We had a red card in the game. Like, no, we actually need to play like whatever Slot thinks is the strongest team out there. We actually need to play like the strongest team, because these are a bad side. These are, I think, they're undefeated in like the past.
They've had a real good run last couple of months.
They're undefeated in like the past 6 games or something in their domestic league, and the top of the Eredivisie as well. So, these are the team that are going to come here licking their lips, thinking to themselves, oh, hey, do you know what? I don't mind these, don't mind these today. They're going to probably be seeing how Forest beat us, probably seeing how City beat us. They're going to be looking at even how Palace beat us at Anfield and being like, you know what? If we can somehow mirror that to some extent, we have a chance here at winning.
Do you think They can though, because I think what I like about these teams is they used to being the strongest team in their league, so they used to like having all the ball, taking it to the team. They're used to playing against the low blocks. Probably they're playing against teams in Holland who are turning up like teams do at Anfield. They could have got to sort of sit back. And I often think when you play against a really good side from a league that isn't quite as strong, I think you've got a bit of advantage really, because they're not really used to having to like sit back and behind the ball and things like that. So Slott's talked about it all season, how styles have affected how our results have been. Now I would argue that's probably too much. I think we're Liverpool, we've got to overcome everything, but they should play, I think, in a similar way to maybe how Frankfurt did against us, and how we obviously that went pretty well.
Yeah, obviously Frankfurt. It's a shame I don't remember that game being allowed to bevy in the stands, but you know, we move on. But I was watching a few of their like highlights, and I think it was Napoli. They beat like 6-2. And we all know how Napoli set up and how they play, and that we've played them far too many times in the past to yeah, exactly same. Something I thought about PSV is that they're very good counter-attacking. Like, they are so fast, and even when teams sit back against them, like, they know how to pass in between tight spaces, and they know how to find space in behind, no matter how deep you sit. And I think one of their goals comes in because one of their players has got the ball on the edge of the box, kind of like the corner, passes it in, simple 1-2 triangle, and all of a sudden they've got the ball on the edge of the 6, and there's just this little square one, and it's a goal. And you're looking and you think to yourself, well, how easily teams play through us, and especially Forest as well. Like, if you get caught ball watching, like, they will punish you for it, and that's a lot of the ways we've conceded our goals by ball watching. You know, the difference between us and Forest on Saturday was that Forest put their bodies in behind everything. Doesn't matter what it was, they put their bodies in front of everything, whilst we kind of anticipated a mistake to try and pounce on it, and that mistake never came. So if we go into with the same kind of mentality of we don't need to fight for this ball, let's just anticipate a mistake, then we're going to get punished for it. We need to really throw ourselves at the game and just try and, you know, even if it's scrappy, look, Forest beat us in a scrappy way, but they beat us. So I think we need to kind of stop this mentality of trying to not make the win or like make the football look good, but just trying to find a way of just making sure that the job at hand gets done. And as I said, if we get caught ball watching today, PSV will punish us. So we need to make sure that everything we do is, you know, more like quicker than reactive. We need to be on it from the moment the ball gets played. You need to make sure you're in the right positions. You need to make sure that everything's coordinated at the back, and then we can focus on going forward.
You used the word anticipating there. It's anticipating danger, isn't it, as well? So it's on the other side. You know, I've seen us this season, and we're a bit too slow to react. And you've seen quite a few of our players, from a defensive point of view, you know, lose and run them in the two, and then by the time they go, well, you know, he's got a clear shot away. I thought all the goals, you know, you weren't necessarily looking at them thinking, oh, the dreadful goals to concede in terms of like a big mistake. But you're looking at it and thinking, well, he's not quick enough to anticipate that danger or react to that danger, and so someone's got all the time in the world, and that's what I want to see a lot more of, is that when we haven't got the ball, that kind of like fear of conceding, fear of sort of what might happen really, rather than like, oh, we've got into position, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, I know, like, especially like the corner as well, that we can see that. I just think to yourself, like, the way the ball's just pinging everywhere, no one really knows where it is, and then when I can't remember who it was who scored. Morello, yeah. I tend to forget when we lose. I just think to yourself, when I watch it back, and I'm like, you know what? Obviously, it all happens quick, but I do feel like there's enough time for elite players in our defence to just at least be able, like, at least turn and face the ball, and you know what? Just throw yourself at it, because even when the shot gets hit, people just stand and watch it. The players are just standing and watching, and there's no one actually trying to just throw themselves at the ball, and even Alisson gets blindsided, and he doesn't have time to even react to it. And that's the thing about, you know, this anticipation. There's no anticipation at all in our team. There's no sense of kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there's no kind of sense of being able to read the game. It kind of seems like we were so used to just kind of having it our own way last season, and even when we went behind, we still managed to get our own way, that we've almost been comfortable to that. And now, when things don't go our way, we don't know. You know, things don't go to the script, and we're a bit like, we don't know how to improv. And I think that's been one of our major problems this season, really, is that we, you know, minus Frankfurt, obviously, that we go goal down and we don't find a way to bring it back. So I'm just hoping today we don't go a goal down. I think that's the thing we're all hoping for, really, is that we don't go a goal down. Because I think the moment, if we do end up going a goal down, I think in other games you go a goal down, like United, like Everton, for instance, if we did, the crowd would get up for it. They'd be like, come on now, we need to get this back. But I think today, if we were to go a goal down, I think the crowd would be like, look, this is up to you now. Give us something to get us going. And rather than, maybe the other way around.
Yeah, it's an interesting one on the crowd, isn't it? Because I feel like, to be honest, like on Sunday I was like, can't believe I've got to go back to Anfield on Wednesday. But then obviously Monday then comes, and then yesterday I'm thinking, no, I want to get in there and support them because they need us at the moment. So, you go from no one to look at them for a week or something to then go, no, I'm actually, from yesterday really looking forward to
the
getting
masculine is just saying that we're back.
Yeah, you show some. Show some desire on our side, show that we're with you when they're struggling, as well as obviously you can't just turn up for Tottenham in April. Do you know what I mean? You've got to go through it all as a fan, and you've got to be there in the harder times, and also just show your support and when they most need it. It's arguably sort of more important, but at the same time, I think as fans, those of us who go with that, actually we need to see a little bit on the pitch as well. Yeah. So it goes both ways, doesn't it? It'll be full tonight. It'll be all the people who want to be there. Do you know what I mean? People who don't will give the tickets away. Yeah. People will be coming. People will be there to support the team. But you can't then see someone pulling out of a tackle after 5 minutes,
exactly.
or just slow play.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. That's why loads of people decided to leave early. Is that it wasn't even the fact that we just got battered. It was the fact that there was just no fight. Yeah. And I look back to that Gakpo pulling out of a 50-50, and even Gravenberch, and I think to myself, why is Gravenberch pulling out of 50-50s? He's built like me. You know what I mean? He's taller than everyone else on that pitch, and he's pulling out of 50-50s, and I think that's just what me and my mates used to do that at lunchtime every day in school. We used to put the ball in the middle and just go at each other and just go for 50s, and you're seeing players pull out of them, and you're like, what are you doing? You're not showing any fight. No. So why do you, if you're not showing fight, why should I be the one fighting in the stands? I'm here doing what I can, making noise, whatever, and I'm seeing players not even going for tackles. I'm seeing players, when they go in for tackles, they don't go all in, and then you want to see change. You want to see small changes like that, which show that there is some sort of passion still in the team. You want to see that there's still fight in the team, and as I said, we are looking for that today, and hopefully with it being a European night at Anfield, you get that.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you the team selection in a minute, but just enjoy your coffee. But we've teamed up with a campaign called Think at the moment. It's on the dangers of drunk driving. I'm going to read this out because I do want to get it. I don't want to get anything wrong. But yeah, it is a campaign called Think that we're happy to team up with. Drugs mess with your reaction time, your focus and your judgments, all the things you need to drive safely. So even if you might feel fine, your body and brain say otherwise, and drugs can stay in your system for longer than you think, sometimes for days or even weeks. More and more, especially at this time of year, the police are testing people at the roadside if they suspect them of driving on drugs. I've said it myself, I drive down the Dock Road, which is just down there, I drive in, and at this time of year, you'll see police on the side of the Dock Road, they're pulling people over randomly and they'll test you. It's a simple swipe, and if you're positive, you could lose your licence for a minimum of a year, an unlimited fine, and end up with a criminal record, which could obviously cost you your job and give you trouble. So if you want to go over to the USA, or you want to follow Liverpool around the world like me and Gregg do, it could scupper those chances of that. And that's before you even consider the harm you might cause to others. So it's not worth the risk. Now, look, no one at the Anfield Wrap is going to tell you what you can and can't do in your private life. I think that is very clear. But it is good to remind all of ourselves the importance of making a plan and looking out for yourself and your mates. So that could be booking a taxi or arranging to stay in someone else's house after a night out, just making sure you get yourself home safely either that day or the next. So leave your car at home, get the train or bus in the morning. It only takes one mistake, but you could be regretting it for a lifetime. So don't put drugs in the driving seat. There we are. A good message for all of us. Team selection. On Sunday, I was like, I never want to see any of them ever again. I was throwing Endo in there, I was throwing kids in there from the academy. Some of them I've never even seen play. I was like, sort of get them in there. But right now, I'm actually warming more to the idea of, do you know what, I want them players to put it right. It's almost like one more chance. Like, you've been messing up this season. Saturday was really bad. This is your chance to show supporters, show the manager, show each other that you have got fights in you. So I'm not saying I necessarily pick exactly the same team, but I'm picking a lot more of them now.
I mean, I hope to see Gomez at right back. You know, I don't want to see Szoboszlai at right back or Curtis Jones, because Szoboszlai, let's look at this fundamentally, right? So Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch, Premier League winning midfield there. Against Forest, you had Szoboszlai playing at right back, and then after 55 minutes, you had Gravenberch playing centre back. A league winning midfield and now playing in defence. How are you meant to win games like that? Yeah. I don't see any logic, and I don't see any progress in that at all. So I'm hoping that I see Joe Gomez at right back, because you know what, he might not be a traditional right back, but he's still a defender. He's still quick. He's still got a defensive mindset, and yeah, he may not be the best, but he's still a defender. I'd rather have a defender playing a defensive position than have a midfielder playing a defensive position. That's that. Obviously, we're gonna have to go for Van Dijk and Konate. It's understandable. We've got no other option there. You could throw Endo in, but again, I'd rather just have a Dempsey put it right. Yeah. Put the wrongs from Saturday right, and hope that we can somehow keep a clean sheet, or at least minimise the amount of goals we concede. And I think for this one, I'd play Robertson over Kerkez as well. I just think in times like this, you just need the experience to kind of get you through it.
Someone to make a big tackle here and get everyone, get the crowd going.
It's mad though, because Kerkez would do the exact same.
I suppose,
Do you know what I mean? But as I said, maybe you need the experience of, Robertson's played in Champions League nights at Anfield for many a year, and he knows how to read the situation, he knows how to read games. And obviously Kerkez comes from Bournemouth, he's never never really played Champions League football before ever, so he doesn't really, he's only really used to playing against Premier League teams, obviously, other than where, he played in there as a youth or whatever. But as I said, Robertson's got the experience, so I just think you just play him over Kerkez just this one time. So that'll be my back line. I'd have Gomez, Van Dijk, Konate and Robertson, and obviously I think Alisson has to start in goal. Midfield-wise, I mean, it's quite obvious, obviously. I don't think there's no injuries, have we got now? So obviously I'll just go for Maka, Szoboszlai, and other than Verts being injured, yeah. So I'll have to just go for Maka, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. It speaks for itself. I just think we've got a winning formula from last season. Just let it do its thing. And then for the attack, if you are going for a front three, I'd just go for, it's an awkward one, because I'd go for Ekitike and Isak. So Ekitike on the left, Isak up front. And then I still want to go for Salah, but then I still also want to see Chiesa start. But then at the same time, I want to make sure Ekitike and Isak get minutes together. So I'm in this weird predicament of, do you drop Salah, do you not? But obviously the big phrase from Liverpool fans this season, we all know what it is, credit in the bank. I've had to mute it on Twitter because it's doing me, I don't know. But credit in the bank, and I think if there's an individual player who has credit in the bank, it's Mo Salah. Yeah. The way he pulled performances out of his arse last season, like I used to say, like he'd have a bad game and he'd still get a goal or an assist, or he played that through ball to get someone an assist or something. So I think based on that, it's based on merit. You give him 45 maybe, and then you bring on Chiesa or something. But I don't know. But it's one of them awkward man-managing kind of predicaments that you get, and obviously I'm not a coach, I'm not a manager, I'm going to leave that down to Slot, but in terms of like on paper the actual 11, I think I'd start Salah over Chiesa just for that reason. And then if Chiesa comes on and then does give a good cameo, then there's an argument for him to start on Sunday against West Ham. But we don't look that far ahead so far.
No, we're only looking to tonight at the moment. We're only looking for the win. We're looking for the team to bounce back. We're looking for them to show that fight, show that spirit, and show what it means for them to play for Liverpool. And if they do that, the crowd will come with them. I know me and Gregg will. I'm looking forward to the game. Hope you're looking forward to it. Hope you've enjoyed Bacon Butty. Like I said, this is one of the shows that we do before every Champions League game for subscribers. So happy to have you on board. The AnfieldWrap.com/subscribe, or download the app, get stuck in. That way there's gift subscriptions available as well if you want to do it that way. You're like, hang on, I'll get my mum to pay. She's asking what I want for Christmas. That's fine as well, 3, 6 or 12 month subscriptions. But we love to have you on board. It still could be a great season. You might win the Champions League. I reckon Gregg's looking at hotels just in case.
One of my mates has already got his flights booked to Budapest,
There you are. Have that faith. Up the Reds.
How's the bacon then, Steve? How's the bacon, did you say?